Life in the UK test. Get ready to pass your Life in the UK test for free. This website is easily designed to help you pass the Life in the UK test easy. We have carefully selected all of our questions from the Life in the UK, a guide for new residents, 3rd edition handbook used for the 2025 Life in the UK exam, and it's completely free. All right, let's do it. I'm gonna not look at chat until I've said the answer, okay? So my answer, I don't know if it's right or not. This is the first question. I've got 45 minutes. Should we beat it? Should we see if we can beat it? Who were the first people to arrive in Britain in what we call the Stone Age? Farmers, hunters, hunter-gatherers, warriors, pirates. What? Hang on a minute. What a stupid question. The Stone Age? Cavemen? I don't know. Arrive in Britain? Where did we come from? Where did we go? Technically, true question, aliens. I don't think that's a true. I think you're right. Okay, who were the first people to arrive in Britain in what we call the Stone Age? Now, my brain says pirates, but that's not right. My brain also says warriors, because like if they are arriving, then they're gonna have to have gone there, right? They're not nomadic, or maybe they were nomadic. Where did they come from? And then I think, well, the Stone Age, is that like, so that the Stone Age was, I don't know, I'm thinking like the Romans, but they were like way before, like after the Stone Age, because the Stone Age was like the first age. So I would say farmers, but then farmers isn't right, because hunter-gatherers is more accurate, because there is loads of like things that say that there were a lot of gatherers back in the day. They're not going to be farmers, are they? But then my brain says farmers, so maybe I will go farmers. Okay, yeah. What do you think, chat? I'm gonna go farmers. What do you think? Nico also says hunter-gatherers. Either farmers or hunter-gatherers. I agree. But it says to arrive in Britain. They didn't just, like, they were hit. Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'm going farmers. Let's have a look. It was hunter-gatherers, correct. No, this says the first people to live in Britain were called hunter-gatherers. That's a different question. Gathering toast and hunting tea. Exactly. You're using my exact thought process. If they arrived, they weren't already here. Yeah, exactly. When did Britain become permanently separated from the continent by the Channel? Do you know what? I just have a really strong feeling this is 10,000 years ago. I don't know why. I can't tell you. I think it is 10,000 years ago. Just saying. Nico says 50,000. I think I said 50,000 too. But I'm cheating because I said 50,000 and Dylan told me I was wrong and it was 10,000. Question number 3. The Commonwealth has no power over its members and cannot suspend their membership. Right. This is, I feel like, one of those questions that I actually should know the answer to. I don't. I'm gonna say, I think that's false. I think it can suspend because people love power. And I think that's rude. Yes! The Commonwealth has no power over its members, although it can suspend membership. You heard it here first, friends. Next, which of the following statements regarding the Black Death is not true? 1/3 of the population of England died, and a similar proportion in Scotland and Wales. It was one of the worst disasters to ever strike Britain. It only affected children and old people. Okay! I think it's got to be it affected children and old people only. Because, right, when you watch horrible histories, it also affected people in the middle. So what do you all think? What is the one that is not true? There's got to be labour shortages because people died. One of the worst disasters to ever strike Britain. That's got to be true. 1/3 of the population of England died, and a similar proportion in Scotland and Wales. Yeah, that's got to be true. Identified as a people in the middle. Exactly. I'm going to go for this one. Yes! In 1348, a disease, probably a form of the plague, came to Britain. This was known as the Black Death. 1/3 of the population of England died, in a similar proportion in Scotland and Wales. This was one of the worst disasters to ever strike Britain. Following the Black Death, a smaller population meant there was less need to grow cereal crops. There were labour shortages and peasants began to demand higher wages. I'm 3 for 4. Who was reigning England? What? Who was reigning in England when Wales became formally united with England by the Act for the Government of Wales? Henry VIII, Henry VII, Elizabeth I, or James I? Also, can I just say, if I don't do this quicker, I was making a joke about not doing it in the 45 minutes, but we've waffled for 15. So I know that James I was also James VI of Scotland. I thought one of them was Welsh. Are they not Welsh? I think it's Henry VII. God, it was Henry VIII. Joey was right. The Elizabethan period is known for the richness of poetry and drama, especially for the poems and plays of which playwright? That one is William Shakespeare. Elizabethan, she loved him. Yeah! Which of the following is not a fundamental principle of British life? Tolerance of those with different faiths and beliefs, the rule of law, autocracy, and democracy. Which of the following is not a fundamental principle? I guess autocracy is what it's trying to get us to say, right? I'm going to say autocracy. I think that's what they're trying to get at. Yeah! The fundamental principles of British life include tolerance of those with different faiths and beliefs, the rule of law, democracy, individual liberty, and a participation in community life. Do I community in life? No. Which of the two are environmental charities? Well, I know the answer to one of these. One of them is the National Trust. I think it's got to be Friends of the Earth, because Crisis has got to be for mental health. PDSA, I assume that is something not Earth related, so I'm going to go for those two. Yeah, good. Okay. Which flag has a diagonal red cross on a white ground? We've got St. George, a patron saint of England. That is a cross, right? That's the red cross. It's not diagonal. St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland. I don't know what his flag looks like. St. David is a dragon. St. Andrew is the... No, I learned this the other day. So by rule of thumb, like trying to rule out everything, it's got to be St. Patrick. Am I right? Ah, yes. Where is Swansea located? I know the answer to that one. Right here. I've never been to Swansea. I know, it's very upsetting, isn't it? I will go next time. When is Christmas Eve celebrated? 27th of December. That's the one. 24th of December, I'm pretty sure. Catch me getting this wrong. There we go. Done. Okay, next one. Which British sportsman won 5 consecutive gold medals at the Olympic Games in the rowing category? I don't know. Okay, so Sir Chris Hoy is a cyclist. Bradley Wiggins is a cyclist. Christopher Dean is a cyclist. I think it's got to be Sir Steve Redgrave, because I know it's not Chris Hoy, I think. So because of that, 5 consecutive gold medals. Excuse me. That has got to be a Sir. Go on. Yeah, knowledge runs out. I actually just said knowledge runs out, but I meant knowledge wins out. What is the name of the centrepiece to Remembrance Day service located in Whitehall, London? Okay, it's not Stonehenge. Scunthorpe is a place. So is Grimsby. So I'm guessing Cenotaph. Yeah, the Cenotaph in Whitehall is a site of annual Remembrance Day service attended by the King, politicians, and foreign ambassadors. Yeah, it is an easy one, right? I wonder if would anyone not in the UK get that wrong? Who was the inventor of the World Wide Web? I know the answer to this. I think it was Tim Berners-Lee. Sir Tim Berners-Lee. I think it's Tim Berners-Lee. Woohoo! He was British. Information was successfully transferred via the web for the first time on the 25th of December 1990. Oh yes. Okay, what does the UK offer to its residents or citizens? Choose 5 answers. Well, what does it offer? Well, if you're in Scotland, free university tuition fees would be one of them. But I would say a right to a fair trial. Probably not true, but... Okay, I'm going to say freedom of belief and religion. I don't believe in any of these answers being correct, but that's a question for another day. Freedom of speech, freedom from unfair discrimination, and a right to join the government. So the only one is free university tuition fees, which is only in Scotland. When did the War of the Roses start? Well, the War of the Roses was between the House of Lancaster and the House of York, and Henry VIII was in the 1500s. So, and it was Henry the second, Henry Lancaster first, Henry the First, which is a lot of Henrys before Henry VIII. So therefore, we need to go back generations. Say everyone's got like a lifespan of say 50 years, then we've got Henry VII, Henry VI. I think it's 1388. That's the one. God, gosh, no, no. In 1455, a civil war was begun to decide who should be the King of England. It was fought between the supporters of 2 families, the House of Lancaster and the House of York. This was called the War of the Roses because the symbol of Lancaster was a red rose and the symbol of York was a white rose. How many members does the Scottish Parliament have? More than one. I'm going to say 129 because that's too random a number. What? Okay, cool. What does the term coalition refer to? If no political party wins a majority, a new election is held to vote for one of the top 2 parties only. The candidate who gets the most votes is elected. If no political party wins a majority, 2 parties may join together and govern together. if an MP dies or resigns, there'll be a fresh election. Well, that is true, but that's not coalition. So I think it's this one. If I do not get at least 18 out of 24, I am going to be tossed into the Thames and cast out in the ocean. The derby is on, but I need to see how this finishes. Sorry, I'll go quicker. The public can listen to the debates in the Palace of Westminster from public galleries in both the House of Commons and the House of Lords. True or false? I don't know the answer to that. I think that I know we can listen in the House of Commons. First person that ever ran out of time on this quiz. It's a hard focus. I'm going to say false because I don't think we can see the House of Lords. Pool and darts are traditional pub games. Yes, we like to swim in pubs. Next, when did the UK formally leave the European Union? I don't know. 2020, because it took like 4 years. No, it took 3 years. This is so rude and unfair. This is so horrible. I'm gonna say it would be I think it's 2020 because I think we always take way too long to do stuff. And I think it's 31st of January because the 30th is just a little bit random. Logic! The logic! What is the minimum age requirement in the UK to drink wine or beer with a meal provided you're with someone over 18? That is 16 years and you can do it in pubs. I did watch The In-Betweeners. That may or may not be how I knew that. In a hotel or restaurant, including eating area in pubs, as long as they're with someone over 18. See, now I've got 4 minutes per question to waffle. Who is the spiritual leader in the Church of England? The Archbishop of Canterbury? I actually don't know. Civil servants can't stand for public office. I think that's true because you work for the government, so therefore you can't come out and come back into the government. So I think that it's true and you'd have to leave your job to go for it. Wow! I got it! My time's still going out! 20 out of 24. Okay, well, at least I beat the Danish and no, I didn't beat the Canadian. At least I beat the Danish chat. If you were wondering how you would do a British citizenship, oh dear. If you were wondering how you would do during a British citizenship test, maybe you'd do better than me and can say the words.